Whether it's Arnold, Ronnie, or C-Bum, big biceps are the first muscle all lifters want to look more jacked. So in this video, I'll be ranking 20 popular bicep exercises. I'll use a tier system with G for a goated exercise and P for a pencil neck exercise, keeping you small. I stole this idea from Jeff Nippard, who's the king of YouTube fitness right now. But since Jeff focuses more on bodybuilding and aesthetics, and I focus more on strength and performance, my video is gonna be much different than his. At the end of the video, I'll award one bicep exercise as the GOAT of goats and demote one exercise to training purgatory for eternal pencil neck. Now, before we start, for an exercise to be G tier, it must meet these 4 criteria in this order. Gets you stronger, has a high degree of tension and stretch, feels good to perform, and gives you a massive pump. If it checks these 4 boxes, you know it's a maximally effective GOAT exercise. If it doesn't get you significantly stronger, lacks tension or stretch, or doesn't give you a decent pump, it goes in the P tier for a loser exercise for pencil necks. Let's start off with 2 of my least favorite, the waiter curl and the standing double bicep cable curl. Trust me, no dude with insanely developed biceps ever built his arms doing these silly exercises. And I don't know about you, but I can think of about 100 better ways to train your biceps than curling a weight like it's a plate of food. And just because you've seen Athlete X doing them doesn't make them effective. Think about it. You can't take the exercise through a full range of motion. You're limited by the amount of weight you can hold on the palms of your hand, and this exercise feels super awkward. This one's going straight to the P tier, so please do any bicep exercise other than this. The second exercise I'm not a fan of is the standing double bicep cable curl. Just because you see lots of juiced up bodybuilders doing this exercise doesn't make it a good one either. Flexing your biceps and training your biceps are 2 different things. The double bicep cable curl offers little to no stretch, you can't go very heavy, and not to mention, you're an asshole for taking up both sides of the cable machine doing a piss poor exercise. Now, if you easily want to make this exercise way better, then lower the cable pulleys from the top to the bottom and perform low cable curls with a stretch. Jeff Nippard calls these face away Bayesian cable curls, but that literally makes no sense to me. So I'm gonna call these low cable curls with a stretch. Now, I really do feel my biceps with this exercise. You get a great stretch with the cables in the low position, and you have a smooth and consistent resistance curve with the cables. Just make sure to step forward so your hands are behind your hips to emphasize the stretch. You could rank this exercise as G tier because it certainly checks all the boxes of a maximally effective exercise, but I'm gonna put it in A tier simply because it requires for you to take up both cables for the machine. You can't go super heavy, and it's a bit more hassle than it's worth. And there's just as good or better bicep exercises you could do instead. Now, you could do single arm low cable curls, but then you're just training one bicep at a time, and personally, I'm not a huge fan of isolation exercises, and even less so when it's a single side and muscle. It's just inefficient. And when you've trained as long as I have, you find yourself gravitating towards more bang for your buck exercises. All right, now that we got some exercises out of the way, let's cover some GOATs. And the first one that I've been preaching about for years is the kettlebell towel curl. All you need is a towel and some sort of heavy object. This exercise is amazing to strengthen not only your biceps, but also your brachialis, forearms, and grip. I get an insane upper body pump from doing these, especially when I combine the curls with a gun walk. You get tons of time under tension, and the best part about the kettlebell curl is that you can do it literally anytime, anywhere. You actually don't even need a rope or a kettlebell either. Any heavy object can work, and you can never go wrong with 2 to 3 sets taken to perfect form failure. The next G tier exercise is the classic chin-up. Chin-ups may actually be the single greatest and most overlooked exercise to develop bigger, stronger biceps. The best way to think about this exercise is that you're literally doing a bicep curl with your own body weight. Not only is this a great exercise for your arms, it's a great exercise for your upper body. I've said it before, the pull-up and or chin-up is the single greatest exercise to develop a strong, lean, and muscular upper body. And trust me, if you take your max unbroken chin-ups from 5 reps to 10 reps, or from 10 reps to 20 reps, your biceps are gonna grow. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know I'm a barbell guy at heart. So what about the classic barbell curl? I actually really like this exercise, and that often gets slept on for fancier, more gimmicky exercises, when the reality, taking a straight barbell, plates, and performing strict barbell curls is a fantastic exercise to build big and strong biceps. While you could definitely put it in the G tier, I'm putting the barbell curl in the A tier only because it can be a little hard and uncomfortable on your wrist with a straight barbell. But overall, this exercise is great, and it can be easily and incrementally overloaded. It's taken through a full range of motion, and lifters have been getting jacked biceps with this for over 50 years. In fact, this might be the OG of all bicep exercises. I do it fairly often in my own training, and one of my favorite arm finishers is biceps 21s with 7 full range of motion curls, 7 middle to top curls, and then 7 bottom to middle curls to finish. Give it a try and trust me, you won't regret it. While I love traditional barbell curls, I sometimes see lifters doing old school drag curls, which really makes no sense to me. These are like a bastardized combination of a traditional curl and a reverse grip bent over row, but standing vertically. You're trying to combine 2 different exercises and doing neither of them well. Drag curls pretty much suck. D tier. Now what about easy bar curls? Definitely one of my all-time favorite curl variations because you get all the benefits of curling a barbell, but the easy bar design makes it much more comfortable on your wrists. Yes, it's true that with the easy bar you include more of the brachialis and brachioradialis muscles in your arms, but I consider this a good thing because you're able to push your sets harder and it actually leads to greater overall arm development. If I'm doing curls with a bar, I'd say 2/3 of the time I'm hitting easy bar curls and the other 1/3 I'll hit straight barbell curls. Bottom line, it's a classic exercise for a reason. It works. G tier. Now, if easy bar curls are great, what about reverse grip easy bar curls? While I do these occasionally, when using an overhand grip, you actually remove a lot of biceps because your brachialis and brachioradialis muscles are forced to take over. And the same thing happens when you perform a neutral grip pull-up instead of a chin-up. So while I like this exercise, I do reverse easy bar curls more for the forearm extensors and brachialis, not the biceps. So for that reason, I'm putting these in the C tier. How about preacher curls? Honestly, I'm just not a fan. I rarely, if ever, do preacher curls in my own training because they just don't feel great to me. I feel the risk outweighs the reward, and when using the preacher bench, it exposes your bicep tendon to injury in the fully extended position. And I've seen numerous guys tear a bicep trying to perform preacher curls with too heavy of a weight. While I'm tempted to put it in the C tier because it definitely hits your biceps, I'm putting it in the D tier only because I never do them personally, and I don't like the inherent risk of injury. All right, so we're finished with bar curls, and I'm moving on to dumbbell variations. And I want to start off with one of my favorites, hammer curls. By and large, these are one of the best arm building exercises of all time. Notice I said arm building and not bicep building. While it's true you get a ton of biceps doing hammer curls, you also get a ton of the brachialis and brachioradialis muscles too. And again, that's because you're using a neutral grip instead of a supine grip. Regardless of grip, hammer curls are a classic and should be a staple bicep exercise in every serious lifter's routine. What I love about hammer curls is that you can curl heavier weights compared to traditional curls, leading to more strength gains and overall arm development. Hammer curls are going G tier. What about zottman curls? These just combine a traditional supine grip dumbbell curl on the concentric with the hammer curl on the eccentric. This is another great dumbbell curl variation where you're just adding an extra twist and incorporating more biceps on the way up and more forearms on the way down. I actually quite like zottman curls and I do them fairly regularly in my own training, so I have to put these in the A tier. Now, what's even better than zottman curls? Inverse zottman curls, where you do a hammer curl on the concentric and then a palms up curl on the eccentric. While there's a subtle difference between these variations, I would have to give the inverse zottman curl the edge over the traditional zottman curl because you'll be able to curl heavier weights overall. Think about it. You'll always be able to hammer curl heavier than a palms up curl, and your muscles are always stronger on the eccentric phase of the lift than the concentric phase of the lift. So the inverse zottman curl is a great exercise. I'll put these in G tier. Now here's another one of my all-time favorites. Standing single arm alternating dumbbell curls. Bodybuilders and gym bros love this exercise and for good reason. It just feels great. Every so often when I just feel like being a total meathead, I'll finish my upper body workout with 2 to 3 sets of heavy standing alternating dumbbell curls and I go to failure. I love this exercise because you can focus one arm at a time, but you're still using both arms each set. And you're always able to curl slightly heavier dumbbells one arm at a time versus curling both dumbbells at a time. For example, I can more easily do 20 single arm alternating dumbbell curls with 50-pound dumbbells versus double arm curling the 50s 10 times. Now, from a muscle building standpoint, are there better exercises? Probably, but sometimes you just want to do the exercises you enjoy doing that look cool. And this is one of those exercises, A tier. Now, what about single arm dumbbell exercises? I'm not a fan, as I said earlier in this video. Doing just one isolation exercise for a single muscle like a bicep, tricep, or delt is just not an efficient use of training time in my opinion, especially if you're doing 3 sets of 15 curls each arm, making it 6 sets in total, which takes forever. So that being said, what about single arm preacher curls? D tier. I don't like preacher curls and I like them even less when performing one arm at a time. How about single arm bench curls? P tier. These are even worse than the one-arm preacher curls because of the inconsistent resistance curve, and you're at even higher risk of tearing a bicep when your arm is fully extended. And you also have the concentration curl. I used to do these a lot when I was a kid because I thought they looked cool and they do feel decent, but again, it's not an efficient use of your training time. D tier. All right, I got just 3 dumbbell curl variations left, and I saved the best for last. The first one is the incline dumbbell bicep curl. I Love this exercise, and this is arguably my favorite curl variation of all. Make sure to lie back on the incline and relax your chest and shoulders as much as possible to ensure you get a huge stretch on the biceps and an increased range of motion. And if you want to make these really hard, do a 5 to 10 second controlled negative each and every rep. Trust me, get ready to have sore biceps for the next few days after doing these. G tier. Now, if you want to get an even bigger stretch on your biceps, try high bench dumbbell curls. Similar to the incline bench dumbbell curls, but these accentuate the stretch even more. Lie flat on an elevated bench and let your arms hang as low down as you can with the dumbbells, putting a huge stretch on your biceps and then curl. I personally like this exercise, but the stretch can be too much for some lifters with tight pecs and shoulders. You also have to be careful not to use too heavy of weights because, again, the huge stretch when your arms are fully extended can put you at risk for a biceps tear. So be smart if you try these. I do these occasionally in my training when I don't feel like curling super heavy weights and I just want to get a massive stretch. I have to say, I prefer the incline dumbbell curls more because I think they're safer and you curl a bit heavier. But these are a great exercise. I just don't do them often enough in my own training, so I'm putting them in the B tier. Now, my final dumbbell exercise is one most of you probably have never tried, and that's the dumbbell iso curl. Make sure you're in a seated upright position and start the set by curling both dumbbells up together, and then always leave the non-working arm up so you're getting a nice isometric contraction and increasing time under tension. Trust me, dumbbell iso curls are no joke and a great way to spice up your arm training if you're tired of doing all the same boring old arm exercises. These are a staple in my routine, so I gotta put these in the G tier. Now, before I reveal my final 3 exercises, I have to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, Transparent Labs and Barbell Apparel. If you want the highest quality supplements at the most affordable price, use my discount code TANNER at Transparent Labs. And if you have an athletic build and want to get the best gym gear and casual wear, check out Barbell Apparel and my very own True Strength line with shorts, shirts, and joggers. All right, back to the video. I would be remiss if I didn't include machines. So what about the bicep curl machine? Honestly, I haven't used any bicep curl machines that I really loved. For me, training biceps on a fixed plane of motion just never felt natural, and I've always preferred the feel of bars and dumbbells. I really think it depends on what machines you have access to at your gym though. But for me, I don't like bicep curl machines, and I'm putting them in the D tier. Another common bicep exercise you see is cable curls with a rope. Not a bad exercise by any means. The cable pulley does offer a smooth and consistent resistance curve, but if you're doing this with just a rope, you may as well just perform dumbbell hammer curls or kettlebell towel curls. I like those variations better, so I'm putting these in the C tier. Now, I saved the best and my favorite bicep exercise for last, and that's the strict legless rope climb. I consider legless rope climbs to be the king of exercises for big and strong biceps. Now, why do I say that? Because when you do a strict legless rope climb, you're essentially doing a body weight curl every pull. These are similar to chin-ups, but even harder. And nothing made my biceps bigger or stronger than increasing my volume of strict legless rope climbs. Don't be surprised if you can't do these at first. In fact, I guarantee most of you watching this video won't even be able to do a legless rope climb simply because you're too weak or too fat. And I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just being honest. But if I did offend you, then do something about it so you're not weak and fat. Because if you think your biceps are strong, but you can't climb a rope, then are you actually strong? And if you're questioning why I put this exercise in my tier list, or you want to argue that rope climbs don't hit your biceps, I guarantee you've never done legless rope climbs. These are G tier, no question. So out of all the goated exercises, if I had to choose just one to crown goat of goats, it's gonna be strict legless rope climbs. No other pulling exercise gives you more functional pulling strength, and these force your biceps to grow. Kind of like high rep, heavy, deep ass back squats force your legs to grow. The only reason you won't see other fitness YouTubers talking about legless rope climbs is because I guarantee they aren't strong enough to do them. And if I have to choose just one bicep exercise to relegate to training purgatory for eternal pencil neck, I can't just choose one. It's gonna be the waiter curl or the single arm dumbbell curl on a bench. These are noob exercises for pencil necks. So if you get caught doing these exercises in the gym, you deserve to get your ass kicked. And if you enjoyed this video and you wanna get bigger and stronger yourself, definitely try out my Straight Up Strength program for free. It includes a free meal plan and a state-of-the-art training app. And if you like it, you can get the first month for less than $3 with this promo code below. I'll put that link here next to my head. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see me rank the best and worst chest exercises, watch this video here.